This is a Thunder Game Report.
Hi, I'm Randy Renner from Chesapeake Energy Arena. The Thunder and the Los Angeles Clippers will tip things off shortly on TNT. The one notable tonight, Matt Barnes, who shoved Serge Ibaka in their game last week, leading to both Barnes and Ibaka being ejected. Barnes not here tonight. He has a bruised eye. Not sure if someone punched him or not. We had a chance, of course, as usual, to talk to Thunder head coach Scott Brooks and the Clippers head man Doc Rivers just before the game tonight.
Well, I hope it's as competitive. I think that's what both teams strive to play like every night. Make it a competitive game, leave everything on the floor type of mentality. That's what we're about. It's not about one individual player against our guy. It's about us against them. They're a very good team. They're talented. They're deep. They're well coached. So I expect anytime we play them, it's going to be competitive.
Do you think the fact that Barnes is not playing will help make sure that nothing escalates to where it was last time?
I have nothing to say about that. I'm sure they want all their players just like we want all of our players. Barnes, we're not concerned with Barnes. We're concerned with the Clippers.
Coach, I talked to you the other day about Redick, but I wanted to ask you about Dudley. What kind of dynamic does he bring?
He's one of those guys that just always seems to be in the right spot on both ends of the floor. He seems like, I don't know him, just seems like a guy that loves the game, wants to be a player that can be relied on. He seems like a very high basketball IQ type of player. Makes big shots, deep shooter, position defender. He just seems like a guy that is all about winning.
Is there value in having a guy who you don't need to call plays for? Like Dudley, I know you've got a guy like Cabo who can score. Just having those guys.
Well, I think it's value when you have guys that can finish, and I think he can. People look at finishers as guys that can fly 10 feet above the rim and finish, but finishers are guys that when Chris Paul sets you up, you get the shot and you shoot it. All you need the ball is in your hands for a second, and he's a finisher. He can finish passes from Chris Paul, just like JJ. JJ is a great catch and shoot player. You can't have a team full of attackers. You can't have a team full of ball holders. You can't have a team full of catch and shoot guys. You need some passers, and the Clippers are loaded with good players.
Scott, with Matt Lawson, Denver runs a lot of high screen and roll. You guys got a handle on that. You got in the fourth quarter the other night. What do you want to see in relationship to the fourth quarter of that game versus tonight? Is there carryover that you should take?
Well, I think that'd be a good carryover into this game and start the game off with that good, tough defensive intensity. They have one of the best pick and roll players in the game, but there's so many good point guards in this league. He's just one of the best. But his pick and roll game, he can shoot, he can penetrate, he can pass, he can throw the lobs, he can do it all. And some point guards have a weakness that you try to take advantage of, but not too many people can seem to find one with him. He's one of the best players in the game.
What makes this Chris Paul Westbrook matchup so special? Why does that seem to stand out every single time?
I think what makes matchups interesting, whether it's an individual player or it's two teams, it's the competitive spirit of the group. And both guys, I coached Chris one game in the All-Star game. He just that game, you can tell that guy has it. And you have to have guys like that as your leaders, and he does. And Russell's the same way. They're both very, very competitive. They want to leave everything on the floor. I don't know if you can count on one finger on both of those guys that you could say after the game, those two guys did not leave it on the floor. They play hard and they play aggressive basketball.
The last time you guys faced each other, you really let Russ guard Chris Paul. Whereas in the past, you put Tabo on. Is that something that you want to see more this year, knowing that you always have Tabo in your back pocket that you can put on?
Well, I think we have some flexibility with how we defend. Russell can guard 1-2s and Tabo can guard 1-2-3s. And the thing about KD can guard 1 through 5, and that helps. Topples definitely is a guy that we can throw on point guards, but they have also a guy that scores a lot of points in the first quarter in JJ. So it's important, like I tell all the guys, we can't be a team that has 2/5 of the starting lineup think about defense. We have to have all guys do the little things, and the good thing, we've always been a team that defended.
Do you have a firm grasp on what you want from Reggie? He's gone from starter to reserve and guard. I mean, do you know exactly where you want him and in what roles? So forth?
Yeah, I mean, he has to be. He's coming off the bench, gives us a spark off the bench. He has a great ability to finish around the rim. His outside shot is improving and developing as his career continues to improve. But I think he has to continue to be the leader on the floor as you want the point guard to be. But I like him attacking. I like him playing pick and roll game, the pick and roll, and I like him finishing around the rim. But he has to also continue to work on the defensive end of the floor and also getting everybody involved.
What do you think about him not passing to Kevin for those free throws in the final seconds last game?
Well, those are things that I feel comfortable that Reggie can make free throws, and we have a team full of good free throw shooters, and especially in those situations like there, Russell, Reggie, and KD are some of the better clutch free throw fourth quarter makers in the league. But I had no problem with that. I mean,
Kevin looked like he had a problem.
well, everybody wants to shoot the free throws. That's why they're special players. I mean, Reggie feels comfortable. That's a risky. I mean, that time that probably wouldn't have been a risky pass. But there's a lot of times when you know teams are going to foul you. Sometimes you don't get that call, and you might make the pass, and the pass might be off target, and then it's a turnover in front of their basket. So I don't think it was a selfish play. It was a play that he didn't want to make he thought the pass would have been too risky.
Have you been impressed with Reggie's ability to step up in those situations and make?
Well, he made two big ones last year in the playoffs in Houston. I think that was game 5. But yeah, no, he's a good free throw shooter.
So if there's a defensive technical, who do you choose to shoot?
KD. Gosh, I like being up here.
Haven't had a lot of time to prepare for it. We were just coming off of Minnesota last night. They've had I don't know how many days off, which makes it interesting. It'll be a good game. I mean, we'll be ready.
Coach, when you guys ran that pick and roll and Chris Paul was really wearing Rubio out, he kept slipping underneath the screen, and then you guys finally ran it on the side, and he got an elbow jumper out of it. Is that your call, or is that Chris just kind of?
Well, it's my call as far as the set, but it's Chris's read. We try to give him that side of the floor in those circumstances, and we're really trying to get him and Blake to play even more games. So they're not so predictable. The one time, you remember, Chris threw it to Blake, and they called it travel, but that was a good action. If you're unpredictable, you're harder to guard, and the greater player you are, and those two are pretty great, the more unpredictable they become, the more harder it's to guard our entire team. So we're working on it. It's still a work in progress.
Since you haven't had a lot of time to prepare coming off that game last night, is it beneficial that you played these guys just last week?
Yeah, that does help. Clearly, I actually like these type of things anyway, where you play a team and then play them again pretty soon, whether you like them or not. I just think it brings more intensity to the game. They're fun to play. It's the closest that you're going to get to it, like a playoff game when you play that second game, because the loser is not happy, and so they're going to try to take it out on you.
Reggie, that incident, Doc, aside, do you sense that there's something maybe a little extra between these two teams?
I guess, my first game in it, they're both very good teams, both very young. I'm assuming lots of talking on the floor, But listen, Oklahoma has been to the finals. They've been to the deep. We're trying to get there. So, I'm sure they view us as a team that's trying to take it, and we view them as a team that we have to try to beat. All those teams are ahead of us right now.
With Matt's injury, Reggie said he viewed it as kind of an opportunity for him to maybe try and work his way into a rotation. Is that how you want a young player to approach something like this?
He went to North Carolina to figure that out. For guys out, yeah, it's an opportunity. Yeah. I mean, that's all this league's about. You get your opportunity, you try to take advantage of it. You know, Reggie's been the perfect player, though, teammate. You know, he works hard every day, doesn't complain, wants to play. Is not happy when he's not playing, but he's never, obstruction. So he's been great.
Doc, Serge and Blake obviously have history. Is that something we have to talk to Blake about, not allowing a late hit or a late push or anything to get, I don't know.
I think you guys are going to tell him enough, right? I mean, you'll do my work for me. I guarantee it. You'll tell him about all this. And
I was going to talk to him pregame.
yeah, I don't talk to guys much about it. I mean, we talk about team composure all the time, and at the end of the day, you got to have it. The perfect scenario would have been Serge to get thrown out. No one get thrown out for us. That would have been perfect. But that didn't happen, of course. So it's just, it's intensity's good. I love it. I don't like when it does that. But I don't mind when guys don't like each other. That's nothing bad about any of that, just as long as we keep our composure.
When you watched film last year and you went through kind of where they were at, how high up was composure or something that you felt like you had to address?
Well, I thought it was, I don't know, it's something. It's in that category. I don't know if composure is the right word with us, but it's in the category. We tend to lose our focus on things that have nothing to do with the game. And that's something we work on every day. We talk about it every day, and we've gotten so much better about it. There's nothing, listen, I'll get on the officials or whatever. We just need to keep playing because the game will not stop for you, even when you're mad. It's not going to let you cool down. Okay, let you get yourself together, then we'll keep playing. The game will never stop. And I tell our guys that whether you're mad, happy, or whatever, the game's going to continue to play, and you have to continue to play. And I think we are really doing a nice job of that, or getting better at it for sure.
Doc, what are your thoughts on Blake's composure, for lack of a better word? Because a lot of people nationally seem like they want him to retaliate and take shots at guys, but he seems like he doesn't do that and keeps his composure.
Yeah, to me, that's the toughest guy you can be. I say it a million times. I've said it to the guys here. Gandhi, Martin Luther King, those guys were tough. I mean, they took the hits and kept preaching. So I think that's what Blake. He knows that he's athletic. The bigger guys can't match his athleticism, so they're going to try to use their muscle, and he can't let it get to him, and he hasn't for the most part. He plays through it.
Russ says he's not quite all the way back. Kevin thinks he might be a little bit quicker. Could you tell from last week where he's at?
Well, I couldn't see him. He was going too fast. No, he probably is not back because you missed that amount of games. I think he's healthy, 100%. But timing in our league, it's hard. You miss a couple of games, and in his case, several months in the summer, you just don't walk out on the floor and be Russell Westbrook. But he looked pretty good to me.
A matchup like tonight gets a lot of hype, but it's very early in the season. So when it comes playoff time, and this is a potential preview, how much stock do you put in a game this early in the season?
I put a stock in every game. I want to win them all, really. And obviously, when you're playing a team like this, you want to win that game. So they're fun. They are one of 82, but during the game, they're fun. You can see our guys get into it. They get into it. I think those are good games. And then right after the game, each coach will say it's one of 82. During the game, it probably isn't.
Hey, Doc, you talk about the process a lot. Is this a good model in terms of, hey, we're a team that got to the first round, second round, conference final, NBA finals? It's not going to happen overnight. Is this kind of a good example of how that can happen? Or
No, because I don't want it to take that long.
you wanted to do it right now?
Yeah, why not? Okay. That doesn't mean we will. But that doesn't. You got to have some dreams here, at least. And so I don't want to be that group that says, "Okay, guys, let's just get to the second round and then we're good." I mean, that's too low for me, expectation-wise.
In the first game, you guys were really able to exploit their rookie center, Steven Adams, and pick and roll.
He's gonna be good.
You think so?
I do.
What makes you think that?
I just like him. I liked him in our workout. I was still coach of Boston when he worked out for us, and I really liked him. He's going to be a good player. Has great hands. Can shoot the ball pretty well. So, he's big. He has size. And what is he? 20?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, what are you guys doing at 20? I'd like to know that right now. I mean, we don't even want to know, do we? No, exactly. But he's going to be a good player. That was a hell of a draft pick.
How much do you anticipate Perk being in there now instead of Steven Adams.
Well, Perk will be in there, you know,
How
and
much do you anticipate him being able to change what you guys can do a little bit in that pick and roll?
well, he's good. I mean, Perk's a hell of a defender, and he knows the league. He knows coverages. He knows every team's offense. I mean, he's a student. That's why he was so valuable to me in Boston. I mean, when you had him and Kevin barking out orders to the other three guys, you know, the other three guys pretty much did what they said, and it made me smart. But it really was Perk and Kevin, and they make you look a lot better defensively.
And all the players you've coached, is your relationship with him unique in any way?
Yeah, we're close. I mean, we're close. I'm close with a lot of my guys, Tony Allen. You know, it was just that group. You know, people forget that a couple years in Boston, I think I had 5 high school players on one team. I mean, so that should never happen again to anybody, I can tell you that. But it was a great learning experience for me. And we had to do far more teaching. I mean, we went 2 hours in shoot-arounds because, you know, honestly, the games probably wasn't going to go so well. But we really worked them, and I thought it was good for them.
So there you have it, the word from both coaches before the game tonight. Ought to be a good one. Tip off in just a few minutes on TNT. A little after 7, of course, we'll be in the post-game locker room for the Thunder. We'll hear what head coach Scott Brooks has to say as well. So check back here on ThunderGameReport.com.